Hello and welcome to the channel. So I thought I'd do a little Christmas gift guide based on the everyday carry pocket kit that I put together, and I've done another video on that which goes into the rationale and the design choices that I made coming up with that kit. But I thought actually the things in that kit would make really good gifts. They're all really cool, and for people who like gadgets and interesting fun things to carry, even if they're not real EDC enthusiasts, individually those items still make really great gifts. So these are all the things I use in my pockets as part of my everyday carry kit. And I'm going to include at the end of this one 2 bonus ideas that aren't to do with that, but are good for kind of gadget lovers, maybe a bit more geeky kind of folk, maybe for people who are a bit more into computers and programming, that kind of thing. So there's 2 of those at the end as well. So the first one, which is one of the ones that sort of surprised me the most when I found it recently, that I hadn't heard about it, is the Zippo gas insert. So this is my old Zippo, which I've had for a long time, and you may know someone who has an old Zippo. So this is a really nice thing to give them because it sort of brings a bit of extra life into something old that they already have, and it reminds them of maybe times you shared with them. So it's kind of a nice idea for a gift in that respect, and it's not expensive at all. So it's just this bit that you buy. So it's a genuine Zippo product as well, so it's a nice bit of branding going on there, and it comes with a sort of reasonable presentation box. So the unboxing experience is quite pleasant. It's obviously very small, nice and easy to post, so great gift idea for that. So remember, it doesn't come with fuel inside that, so if you want to avoid disappointment on the day, make sure you can get them a gas lighter fluid can as well. So the next thing is the Bellroy Key cover, which is just this bit, doesn't come with this. I'll move on to that in a second, but really awesome gift. Absolutely lovely packaging, really nice unboxing experience with a little tab, and attention to detail on the packaging is really nice. So that makes a really lovely gift. Very nice aesthetic to the product itself as well. So it's a lovely thing to open. Remember, it is leather, so it's not an ideal gift for someone who's vegan. Worth remembering that I don't think they do any non-leather versions of this. So the next thing I'm going to mention is a multi-tool. Now this is the Rebar, which is the one I carry. So this is a good option if you're in the UK where carrying anything with a locking blade is illegal. The other option is the Leatherman PS4, which is a lot smaller, some ways makes it a nicer gift. It's got a small blade, but it's not locking. So it's a good option, but it's very small. A bit less useful than this in terms of real utility. But there are lots of caveats with this one, so I wouldn't actually necessarily recommend this as a gift. I would probably think the PS4 would make a nicer gift. So you kind of really got to want to use this. So for example, there's a very annoying feature where you close the scissors. This blade can poke through the back and stab you as you close it. So it's not an ideal gift actually. So I wouldn't recommend this one, but the Leatherman PS4 definitely would make a good gift. If you do know someone who is a bit of a Leatherman enthusiast and they've already got a good Leatherman multi-tool and they haven't got one of these, then this is a nice little gift that shows you kind of thought a bit about what they already have, which is a sort of adapter, some bits included, and then a space for 2 hex bits. So really nice little kit, which they would almost certainly find very useful. So you might feel funny about giving someone a knife for a gift, but if you let the superstitions aside, it makes for a lovely gift actually, and this is a really good option. It's not too expensive, it's very light, so it's a good tool. I chose it as my pocket everyday carry knife. It has a better quality steel than most knives in this price category, so when I was researching what is the best knife to carry, I ended up going down one of these rabbit holes and learning about the different steels that the knives are made of. That is, you could spend a long time researching that. So I kind of distilled it down and it worked out that this D2 steel in this one for the price is a pretty good option. It's better than most in this price bracket. So that's a nice thing to mention, perhaps if you were going to give this as a gift to someone. I've actually bought this little thumb stud, both of these from Heine Haynes, which is a big store in the UK, but I'm sure you can get them elsewhere. There's a little thumb stud that screws onto there so that you can open it with one hand, which is kind of cool. So that would make a bit of a thoughtful addition to that if you were doing that as a gift. Again, nice and small and light, easy to post. In terms of the unboxing, nothing too exciting here. It's just a standard cardboard box. So it's much more about the utility rather than the aesthetic and the experience of opening it in this case. So I mentioned this Paracord Lanyard thing. So this is just something you make yourself, and of course nothing is a nicer gift than something you've made for someone. So you can grab a carabiner off Amazon and then you make this, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So any bit of paracord and you can make one of these. Obviously if you combined it with the Bellroy key cover, that would make a really awesome gift. If you did give it as a gift with the Bellroy, you might want to consider building it onto the loop of the Bellroy just to minimize having another metal ring, but obviously you'd have to unbox it, so I'll let you figure that one out. Obviously if you built it with a little wire ring around there, then they could attach it themselves and that might work just as well. One thing to remember is really go quite a long way when you keep adding the loops down here, because if you don't do it enough times, it very easily comes down and you're left with that bit. But I'll go through the process of making that now. So this is one I did before, but actually I missed a loop on there, so you can see it's not even at that point and it twists at that point. So I'm going to show you how to avoid that mistake. The tutorial I followed originally was using alternating colours, which made it a lot easier to sort of demonstrate, but when I got to doing it with my own and I just folded the paracord in the middle, and so I had the same colour on both sides, it was a little bit more confusing. So I've kind of figured out a little trick to avoid that confusion, so I'll show you that. So basically just loop that through and pull that tight and keep that on that side. Now I haven't shortened this paracord at all, I've just got plenty of excess, so at the end I'm going to be trimming 2 ends and I'll have obviously a surplus 2 offcuts, but that's okay because at least I know that I've got enough to do a really good tight knot all the way down. So this is the point you decide how long you want it to be, so I'm just going to go for sort of something like that, and then you bring these 2 open ends down back towards you. So this is the first point. So basically the knot's the same, but you switch from right to left, from right to left. So if you forget which side you're on, it can be confusing, and that's how you end up missing the ones before. So the trick is to actually learn what the knot looks like at any given time, and then you can know which way round you're going. So the first thing to do is you take your right side over, and then with this left one, you can keep this original right one on the left now, and then the left one goes over the top of that one, then back under, and then up through the loop. So that is the first knot. So basically you just keep doing that all the way down, but switching sides. Okay, so now we're doing it from the left side, so that goes over, under the free end there, and then that one comes up through the loop. So basically the little trick, when you see the loop on the top, that shows you the one that you're going to do the knot on. So I'm not going to try and do the knot on this one, I'm going to do it on this one. So it goes over and then under, and then we poke this one up through the hole. So I've forgotten which way I'm supposed to be going, so I can check how it looks. So the loop is on this side now, the topmost loop is on this side. So I know that I'm going to loop this one over and then under the free end on the other side. That one goes under behind everything and back up. And if you keep pushing it up tight every time, you'll see how much you need to go. It's actually really fun. Quite a nice way to spend an evening. So if you look at this one, I didn't put nearly enough on here, and after some use it's now got enough slack in it to leave that. So I'm going to try and avoid that by really jamming this down. So in terms of finishing it off and stopping it unwinding, the best way of doing that is to melt them together. So you want to cut it off. If you imagine, I'm going to get them to join at about that point. You can see I did this on this one. So there's the join there of the 2 edges. Yeah, I reckon that's just going to do it. So basically you just want to melt these 2 edges and then fudge them together. That's definitely not the neatest one I've done. I did cut that a bit too short. With this one it's a bit neater, so I had a little bit more slack and I could really just melt the ends and then push them together. Looks nice from that side though. So the next thing is the space pen, which is probably kind of the oldest, longest running gift idea that there is, but for good reason. It is a fantastic gift. And people kind of lose these quite often, so if they had one at one point, they probably haven't got it anymore. And the reason for that is actually because most of them don't come with the pocket clip, so they just slip out and they disappear. They're so slippery and small, they just disappear very easily. So if you're going to get one, get the pocket clip, because that will make it a much more useful present. And again, nice unboxing experience, kind of a quirky little moon space rock style holder for it. It's these kind of things that people find quite hard to justify buying for themselves because they're quite expensive, but they're really good. So as a gift, it's definitely a really good option. So if you want to spend a little bit more and get something really quite special, this is the Perun Mini, which is one of my favourite gadgets at the moment, just because it's a torch that's really small and really bright, but it's got the forward-facing light on the front and the pocket clip on the back, and those two features turn it into something way more useful than it has any right to be. You can keep it in your pocket, but then you can just clip it on whatever you're wearing and you get forward-facing hands-free light, which is unbelievably useful. You know, previously to have that you had to have a head torch, which is about the most useless thing to carry every day, imaginable, because it's such a cumbersome thing. But with this, that's it. It's just ready to go and makes for a really cool thing to carry in your pocket all the time. 1000 lumens, magnetic charger. Really nice unboxing experience too, high quality packaging, with a sort of pull tab. Yeah, great, really good. So definitely highly recommended as a gift. And of course, if you want to spend a little bit less, then Olight do lots of smaller versions, which are all just as good. And do check out my Olight torch roundup video if you wanted some more ideas on that. Okay, so the two bonus items that are deviating from this idea of sort of pocket carry tools, more suited to geeks and programmers, is the Raspberry Pi, which is a tiny little computer, which you can do all sorts of fun things. And then this, which is an infrared sort of transmitter that has network connectivity. So the two of these, you can have a whale of a time programming and making it control all the things in your house that use infrared remotes. So whether that's your TV or your fan or whatever, you can have great fun with this. So for someone who's a little bit of a geek, these would make some great gifts. So I hope that's given you some ideas. Let me know if you've got any other interesting ideas to share. Obviously people looking at this video will read the comments, and then this video can be kind of a useful resource for everybody too. So hopefully this video has given you a few ideas or inspiration as a gift guide. Check out the other videos that go into a little bit more depth on some of these things. And of course, have a happy Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video.